Whoa, 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 whoa. What is up, black people? Yo, what's up, everybody? Hope everything is amazing for you all, as always. I'm your host, the Honorable OCT OctaviusHaye, and this is the WACCast podcast. So without further ado, let's talk whack to them. The Grammys was on this past week. I watched it. Saw Dr. Dre get his award that's named after him. I saw the 50th anniversary celebration of hip-hop. It had some great names out there. I saw Lizzo give a touching speech, which she thanked Beyonce. It's very moving. I saw Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, Rick Ross, John Legend, Khaled performing on stage. Saw some other things too that were very nice that I can't think of. One of the other things though that I can't think of that I saw was the touching tribute by Quavo to Takeoff. It was also a tribute for everyone that we had lost in music the past year. But, you know, of course, Quavo being out there and performing a tribute song that he made for Takeoff, who was his real life nephew, as well as his bandmate in the Migos, and then when they went on as a duo. So that was nice. Something we didn't see, though, was the alleged backstage altercation between Offset and Quavo. Now, Offset denies that there was an altercation. However, we have seen or heard footage, I think it was from TMZ, of Cardi B, Offset's wife, going off on what people are alleging is Quavo and Offset, saying that they both wrong for this because it's supposed to be honoring Takeoff. Now, my position on this, or my opinion on this, is that Cardi B's right. They shouldn't be going back and forth. You know, regardless of whatever the issue is between them, this was both of their family member, both of their bandmate, you know, pretty much brother, even though they have different titles with him. Quavo's the nephew, Offset's the cousin, pretty much brother the way they grew up together and the way they created this whole group of Migos that's like one of the top groups of all time. You know, Takeoff is gone. Any issues you may have with him are gone at this point. And so even if y'all don't like each other, if Quavo and Offset can't make it work, they just can't, you know, forgive each other for whatever happened. We still don't know. We have rumors, but for whatever happened, if they can't make it work, at least they should be able to, hey, let's just, you know, share the stage or share the time for, you know, our loved one, our family member that we both lost. You know, I had hoped that because of the funeral they both spoke and they were both there, that they were at least able to be cordial with each other, you know, and just, hey, we don't gotta talk to each other, but we can at least be in the same space at the very least for Takeoff in honor of him. But apparently that was not the case. Quavo is said to have been the aggressor and did not want Takeoff on the stage with him during the trip. Did not want Offset on the stage with him doing the tribute for Takeoff. I think that's ridiculous. I don't know if Quavo's mindset is, you know, Takeoff really wasn't fooling with Offset when he was alive, you know, towards the end of his life, so he didn't want, you know, Offset on that stage with him. Maybe he thought that would have been fake. I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm trying to speculate on what could have been the reason for it. You know, but I think that's ridiculous because Takeoff can say, well, and I don't subscribe to this, but I'm saying if Quavo wanted to be paid like that, then Takeoff can say, well, Quavo, it's really your fault. It was the argument that you had that caused your Takeoff to be killed. If Offset wanted to be like that, I don't think either one of them need to be petty like that. Yeah, like I said, this is a family member, and whatever you're both grieving, you're both hurting. It doesn't mean that you need to be together as a group again. But at the very least, can't y'all just, you know, honor y'all brother? With all this being said, though, it really makes me believe that, dang, maybe Offset did smash Sweetie, because I just don't know what else would it be that would make Quavo this upset. You know what I'm saying? Like, what else would Quavo be this upset about, if not that? And Quavo's been leading into it. We don't know if Offset and Sweetie smashed, but Quavo's been leaning into it. He's been making comments, at least about somebody smashing somebody that he's been messing with. One of his homies smashing somebody he's been messing with. I don't know. But when you look at how much of a grudge Quavo is holding, it's carrying some weight. At the end of the day, I think that, you know, they should put their egos aside. Again, Cardi B was right. It's not about them. It's about Takeoff And Quavo and Offset have other enemies that they need to be focusing on right now. The other enemies that Quavo and Offset should be focusing their attention on is mob ties, or, more specifically, the Prince family. J. Prince Jr., maybe even Jazz Prince. Even though, J. Prince said Jazz and Quavo was homies, Death in the Family can kind of change that. So the Prince family went on $1 million worth of game, Gillie and Wallow's podcast, to pretty much try to clear their name of this whole Takeoff situation. Ever since Takeoff's murder, and it was one of the guys, Lil Cam, who's part of Mob Ties, J. Prince's group or gang or whatever you want to call it, crew. Prince family, Mob Ties, they've been getting a bad rep for everybody outside of Houston. And we've been hearing the stories for years about J. Prince in Houston, how he shakes people down, tries to get artists to pay him for performing in Houston, getting people to pay him for protection out there, quote unquote checking in to make sure that it's good to be in Houston, and kind of ruling that place with an iron fist, having control of it. A lot of people saying the way that J. Prince Jr. and the other people that were part of Mob Ties handled the Takeoff situation after Lil Cam allegedly shot him. I don't know if it's a lot of debate or a lot of talk. So I don't know what's well known or what's still alleged, but pretty much, since the death of Takeoff, people have been saying the Prince family just weren't handling it well. Seemed like they were uncaring. When they had a memorial for Takeoff, which became more of like them trying to defend themselves. And even in this interview they did with Gillie and Wallow on $1 million worth of game, it was more of passing the buck over to the Migos people. And Quavo's boy, I don't know if that's really his brother or they just call each other brothers, but Migo Bands, who was the guy who kind of started the issue, or who started the physical altercation. So if you've seen the video, Quavo's upset going off. Lil Cam is kind of apologizing. I guess they had some words. Lil Cam's trying to smooth it over. Quavo's still upset. And then according to J. Prince, Migo Bands kind of swung on Lil Cam, and Lil Cam aired out the spot. And of course, one of those bullets ended up hitting Takeoff, who actually had nothing to do with the fight. So you got J. Prince going on the podcast, retelling the story. He's got the police report that has, Migo Bands on there talking about the whole situation, and talking about the whole situation to the police, giving his testimony. J. Prince calling him a snitch, although what is J. Prince doing? Because he's kind of giving more details than was known. But anyway, he's putting it on that man, saying that it wasn't their side that caused the issue. It is not their side's fault that Takeoff is dead. It's actually Quavo's camp's fault that Takeoff is dead, though he wasn't putting anything on Quavo. Next said they were supportive of Quavo. They was there for him, took him to the hospital, and they was rocking with him. And J. Prince even said that Quavo would say the same thing when he finally comes out and talks about it. J. Prince even had some smoke for Offset and said Offset, he been hearing that he been talking about him. J. Prince said, don't make me have to defend myself. That won't be healthy for you, talking to Offset. So there's some beef between them and there. Offset, of course, responded and said what a lot of people were thinking, which was, yo, why you keep having interviews? Why do y'all keep talking about this? This is what Offset's saying. Offset's like, yo, the family ain't even said nothing. Y'all just keep having things to say. And that's kind of the sentiment that the fans have been taking. And I don't know what J. Prince and, Mob Ties and Prince family thought was going to happen, but they are looking like the bad guy. And this whole interview seemed very staged, very rehearsed. Wallow and Gillie really wasn't giving too much a comeback, really wasn't focusing on a lot of details they should have been focused on. And it really seemed like this was just, hey, we just want to come and give like pretty much a statement. And they're trying to switch the narrative to target, Quavo's camp, Migo Bands himself, and trying to put more of the attention on, or put more of the blame on them, and take it off of Lil Cam, who is the guy who was in custody, right? Now, of course, the whole situation could have been avoided. There was no need for all that violence and fighting and all that. I do agree 100% with J. Prince on that, but at the end of the day, it was your guy who shot the gun, who took the life, and I get that somebody on your side was hurt too, But you can't look at these people and be like, well, y'all gotta be okay with it because we lost somebody too. No, it was y'all guy at the end of the day. And his lack of accountability, Jay Prince's lack of accountability really hurt him, I believe, in the eyes of the people, because fans seem to be siding with Quavo and Offset, even if Quavo and Offset aren't siding with each other. And I'm curious what Quavo has to say, if and or when he does finally say something, if he will agree with Jay Prince and the Prince family's account of what happened, or if he's gonna be like, that's not at all what I see. And because I don't think that Quavo's gonna turn on his mans. I don't know, but I know that this does not work out in their favor. I know that Offset wants to smoke, it seemed like. I just hope that don't nothing further come from this and everybody shut their mouth. It's still an open case. So the alleged murderers of rapper XXXtentacion are currently on trial, and even though we have all this video evidence showing them, pretty much casing X and, going to get the mask and stuff and shooting them, they're saying they're not guilty, and the defense is arguing that it's on Drake, that Drake is behind X's murder. Now, of course, they're referencing, XXXtentacion's tweet or whatever it was, post that he put on social media saying that if anything were to happen to him, XXXtentacion, that is, that Drake did, or he called him Champagne Poppy, which is Drake's name on Instagram. Drake and X had a rough, relationship, if you can even call it that. X accused Drake of stealing his flow and his cadence in a song that it was a song that really got X popping, and there was just never no love there. X had a lot of stuff, negative things to say about Drake. On Drake's side, I don't think he ever directly responded to X, but X was really going at Drake a lot. And like they said, he did say that if something happened to him, X said if something happened to him, it would have been because of Drake. Now the defense's lawyers are arguing that was a real threat and that Drake was the one behind it all. I remember when X first passed, there was a lot of rumors about Drake being the one behind his murder. Really because of one of Drake's songs where he says SMS triple X, send my shooters triple X. That's the only time I hit below a nigga below the neck or something like that. Pretty much going in detail about murdering triple X is what people were saying. And I gotta admit, even myself at the time was like, that's kind of a coincidence song coming out right now, man. That's kind of crazy. This is kind of really kind of detailing Drake doing some stuff. And Drake over the past few years has been getting a lot more gangsta on his records, talking a lot more tough. So that always was in the back of my head, like, I wonder, could it be Drake? Now, ultimately, no, I don't think that it was Drake, because Drake would have no reason to kill X. There are mad rappers, mad people that do not like Drake. Drake has no reason to kill any of these people. He's probably been in way bigger beefs with other people with more serious issues between them, and nothing's happened. I just don't see Drake putting his career on the line because what did X get on his nerve, annoy him or something? I don't know. But I'm gonna be honest, there's some iffiness with that those bars. It does kind of throw you for a loop, and then him taking a picture with one of X's friends was random, and why would that happen? I don't know. And everybody knows Drake is petty. So if Drake was to be responsible for somebody being murdered, I could definitely see him taking a picture with like his friends or something. Just on some petty Drake stuff. Again, I don't think that Drake had nothing to do with it. I think that this is just the defense's poor attempt at trying to do something, because the lawyer's like, yo, my clients don't want to say guilty, so I gotta do something, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's gonna be not guilty, then I gotta try to come at it from some angle. So I'm pretty sure, I would not be surprised if the defense attorney was like, bro, let's just say guilty, try to plead for a lesser, sentencing or something, because this ain't gonna stick. But hey, lawyers work for the client, and there's really nothing else to go off of, because they have so much video evidence of these guys, stalking X, that you kind of gotta be like, well, shoot, let's just say Drake did it. No word from Drake yet as of right now. At least I haven't seen anything at the time of this recording, but you never know. Drake might say something. Drake usually doesn't respond to stupid stuff like this. I don't think he ever came out and said, no, I didn't kill X before. And there has been, like I said, rumors about that before. we all know what this is. They're trying to get off, and Drake is like the only scapegoat that they may have, and that's a weak case in of itself. But hey, man, it's bringing up those conspiracy rumors again, so we'll see what happens with this. Well, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and getting this whack wisdom. I hope that you come back next week to get a little bit more from me. And of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I'm dropping new content on the YouTube channel. And if you listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts, please make sure to follow us on those platforms so you're notified every time I'm dropping new episodes on there as well. So, hey everybody, enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday. Who y'all got, the Eagles or the Chiefs? Let me know in the comments section. Other than that, this is the WACCast podcast, and I am whacking off.
It's the WACCast podcast, yeah.
Talk whack to me, talk whack to me,
yeah.
Talk whack to me, talk whack to me.
It's the WACCast podcast, yeah.
Talk whack to me, talk whack to me,
yeah.
Talk whack to me, talk whack to me.